SMEs can drive economic growth in Nigeria. And you know what? Here are some key ways, or here's how they can do that. So first would be job creation and poverty reduction. I think I've said this thing several times. I'm beginning to sound like a broken record, right? If you really empower SMEs in Nigeria, they actually can, mop up the unemployment pool that we have, right? And they can also reduce, this poverty index that we are ranked on, all the time. So SMEs can account for over 80% of employment in Nigeria. And this can drastically help to reduce unemployment and underemployment. They can hire locally, they can empower young people, they can empower women, they can empower youth, and they can also foster inclusive growth, right? One small SME, even if she says, let's even give an average that she's able to, or he's able to hire 3 people or even 2 people, just put that and on the multiplier effect and see how it will trick all of that. That is just one makeup artist. I'm trying to break it down to even the macro businesses to see, just to give you an idea of how many people can start to be intentionally, mopped out of the unemployment pool. A hair braider, you see them, one person is braiding the hair, one person is handing them the, the extensions. And that's how it works. So literally one person can have multiple, opportunities to be able to employ people. So just, by empowering SMEs, you can actually have over 80% employment in Nigeria. Now, GDP contributions and economic diversification, SMEs can also contribute about 50% of Nigeria's GDP. They do contribute that, reducing reliance on oil revenues, right? We can't keep depending on oil. They promote diversification into various sectors. I mean, be it fashion, agriculture, manufacturing, the creative sector, ICT, retail. All of these sectors, right, are not oil sectors. So imagine if you are able to truly empower an SME, then you now have a diverse economy. We're not now just only looking at one particular revenue generator. Innovation and technology adoption, fintechs, digital SMEs. See what has happened, right? Our unicorns, SpaceTac, Flutterwave, right? They're transforming financial inclusion. Before fintechs came, banks were like this, right? But by the time fintechs came, banks just decided that if we don't align, one day we'll wake up and we do not have customers anymore, because they truly helped, in financial inclusion. They helped to they just ensured that, payments, different things was made easy, and people could actually now intentionally take their goods outside of the country. So export was no longer just tied to just only agricultural products or oil, right? Export was also our creative sector. People could do adire bags in Nigeria and export it abroad because there was a payment platform that was available, a payment gateway that was available. So agri-tech startups, for instance, I've seen this company called Farm Crowdy, right, that enhance food security through smart farming solutions. There are so many things that have happened, and because a lot of small businesses embraced technology, right, we are seeing how those technological adoption and innovations have helped in boosting the SME community. So if you were a government that was thinking, what is the low-hanging fruit? What are my quick wins that I can help to just rejig the economy? Your focus should be on SMEs. I don't know how this is not a no-brainer, but you see, sometimes we see a lot of that. There's a body called SMEs. So many things they say that they're supposed to be doing, but I'm not getting any positive feedback from the people that have interacted with SMEs. But that is supposed to be a direct investment, direct investment body that, direct from federal government straight to the SME. But we don't know how far that is happening, right? Export potential and foreign exchange earnings, as I said before, our creative sector, you send your products, you receive FX payment. SMEs in agro-processing and fashion, as I said, they are the ones really benefiting from this, export potential and foreign exchange earning potential, right? Because those are the things that can actually boost our non-oil exports. More of those things. So if government, is intentional, then we'll see more of those things sprouting everywhere. We hear that the government's initiatives like the African Continental Free Trade area provide access to wider markets. We don't know how far that is going, but that is one avenue that the government is trying to boost, that sector. They also support for large industry, so backward integration. SMEs can, supply raw materials, right, and services to bigger firms. So, for instance, if you check companies like the food processing companies like Nestle, a small farmer can provide the corn, a small farmer can provide the millet and all of those things. So, that entire value chain. Dangote, for instance, they can be small manufacturers providing what these, or small agri people or farmers or whatever, providing what the bigger organizations can use. This can truly help to strengthen SMEs. It can also help to strengthen the supply chain, and it can also help to reduce our import dependencies. So instead of so if there are things that we want or we need in this country, instead of looking outward, where are the small businesses that we can go to, and they can help us channel what is required, that would then eventually, become like a loop, right? You empower the SME supplies, you empower the SME supply. So we keep our what's it called, our dependency locally, so we're not depending on foreign companies all the time, but we are strengthening our small businesses so that we can then intentionally, build capacity for them. So if you say that we want to touch on the key challenges right now that, because I always like to talk about the challenges that small businesses face, because I am a small business, one of the key things that is holding SMEs back would be access to finance. I don't know how else to emphasize this, right? I really hope and pray that we can get to that point where SMEs can access loans at 3%, at 4%, because these things, you see them. I mean, I hear that some of our big business guys, tycoons, right? They're able to travel to France, they're able to travel to Europe to go and get loans at 2%, at 3%. Let's even say everything was great and we didn't have these issues around exchange rates fluctuating and all of that. That's a fantastic win for them, right? It's a fantastic win. Imagine if we're able to have more businesses, right, have access to finance at a very low interest rate, right? That would be great. But the thing that is disturbing us is that we, first of all, have high interest rate to battle with as small businesses. We also lack collaterals to even give this bank, right? So, for instance, now you want to take a loan of 100 million, or let's even say half a billion, right? Where are the collaterals that you can take to be able to boost your manufacturing plant or whatever? There are no collateral, so you lack collateral. And also, there's also limited credit access. So it's not even just say, okay, let's even say you met the requirement and you were comfortable with the interest rate, right? The credit access is also very limited, right? A lot of times you see packages for SMEs are in the range of the 10 million, 20 million. But with what I have seen and over the years, I can tell you comfortably that SMEs now actually need a quarter of a billion. They need half a billion. Those are the kinds of financial, injection that they need to be able to transform so that the business can pivot, it can grow. So imagine a farmer currently now that has hectares of lands and all of that. All that farmer needs is to be able to structure a proper processing plant or whatever it is, depending on the crop that and packaging plant and all of that. For you to be able to do that, it's not a 10 million loan that you require. It's not a 20 million loan that you require. You require something a little bit higher, because even the machines alone that you're going to use, to be able to access, to be able to structure that packaging, it's going to be standardized, right? Because again, another thing NAFDAC will tell you that they have to be stainless steel, they have to be this, and all of those things cost money. So, I mean, if we're able to have access to loans at a very low rate, and, we cut off all these issues around collateral and all of that, I'd probably maybe use the business as the collateral or something, but something to just be tailored for the current needs of SMEs. That would be fantastic. Another challenge that is holding SMEs back would be poor infrastructure. So unstable power supply. See what we talked about, the lucky girl, right? Bad roads, right? High logistics cost. I've seen cases where you want to buy something for 5,000 naira and you're using almost 4,000 naira to bring it to you. That doesn't make any sense, right? Imagine if we're able to bring down some of this costs, right? If we're able to bring down, look at an average SME right now, today's SME. You have invested in solar, you have invested in inverter, you have a small generator, right? A petrol generator. You also have a diesel generator. You have, what's it called? Electricity bill. So your bills are coming in, you know, sometimes on an average, we do about 100,000 in 7 days. So let's say 100,000 in 7 days. Let's just multiply roughly. Let's just even say, okay, 1 week, 100,000, right? Multiply that, that would be about, and this is for a very small business. Small business. We're not talking about the bigger SMEs, right? You know, so just look at the entire, what's it called, structure that you have to put in place as one small business. That's too much, right? Power supply, bad roads, logistics costs. All of these things adds up to some of the things that are holding small businesses, you know, from exploding, because they are the ones that would truly transform the economy. It's not the big companies, right? Multiple taxations. This is what we see all the time. This one will come and say it's from local government. That one will come and say it's from LIRS. The other one will come and say it's from FIRS. Different kinds of multiple taxations that go on. Harassment by tax agencies, you know. And this, because of this, a lot of businesses, they are discouraged to formalize. If you notice, some businesses don't have signages, they don't have anything. You understand? Just because they're trying to avoid, you know, all of these harassments, right? They don't want to even do proper documentations and all of that. But in the end, if you don't have a proper documentation, it means automatically you cannot even access a loan in the first place, even if it is the 10 million or the 20 million naira loan. You know, regulations hurdle is also something that holds a lot of SMEs back. You know, cumbersome business processes. CSE has done a lot of work in trying to simplify the process. All you need to do is go online and all of that and get your registration, get your license process, get your TIN, your VAT numbers and all of those things. They're trying to simplify that process. Let's keep having more of that, because that will even help to ensure that every business from the start, you are already putting structures in place, however tiny your business is. Another one would be low technology adaptation. As much as we say technology has really transformed how fintech, you know, is blossoming in Nigeria, and how we've even become a unicorn in this country and all of that, you know, from one of our fintechs, many SMEs still rely on manual processes, and that is not good, right? We need to start having solutions. I remember when I started my retail business over 20 years ago, right? Yeah, was it 20 now or 18 years ago? 2007, I don't know how many years that is now. From the day one, you know, I had hired a company that had all those scanning machines that could put in everything so that we could put in inventories and all of that. You know, that cost me something. But you see, it helped me in the long run, because it was helping me to, you know, to, as much as I'm not so much of a, you know, a day-to-day bookkeeper and all of that. So if it was once a month I could do it, I had a report to be able to access and all of that. But you see, there's a lot of SMEs that still focus on the manual processing in terms of running their businesses and all of that. And you see, until we are able to start to intentionally bring solutions that helps SME digitize their businesses, that helps them to adopt certain kind of technology, that makes life easy for them, in the long run, right, if we do that intentionally, everybody would benefit from it. The government, SMEs will not run away from taxes anymore, because guess what? They will be seeing what the dividends of their tax that they're paying, so they will do that. And you would have a simpler process, so you can actually even trace income. It can be, with technology, we can simplify a lot of things in Nigeria, and we don't have to be fighting. Nobody needs to come and give you multiple taxation. I should just go on the website. I run a small business, and probably these are my, what's it called? This is the number of staff I have. This is what I do. I mean, this is this, that is that. The number of my revenue per annum and everything. You should be able to generate the taxes that you're supposed to pay to either maybe the state or the federal government. All of these kind of systems are the things that we need to intentionally adopt, right? That kind of technology that will just simplify the process, that all I need to do is just go online. I don't need to go through all of these things. Then it cuts off even leakages within the government. So they are able to even see the true, what's it called, contributions of small businesses in our GDP.